But what's so brilliant about just the overall part of the space is it is so Darwinian in terms of evolve or die, and you hear so quickly, once the narrative kind of changes to, Solana's popping off and it's got all this going on, and wow, wait till Bitcoin, look at all the intricacies and the innovations happening in Bitcoin. Then you start hearing, what's going on with Ethereum? Is it da-da-da? So it really serves like multiple motivations that then you see the actual activity when we look at activity by chain, by marketplace, seeing those real world applications. It's an interesting, very unique thing. It's almost like everyone's kind of seeding, as you said. It's almost like everyone's being their own kind of venture capitalist to a degree, and they're getting rewarded based on their activities. So
yeah, you say venture capitalist, I say full degen, but place your bets strategically. Like I got in a little debate, a very friendly debate in one of my Discord channels, and I was kind of saying, RSIC, I'm definitely most bullish this one. Runestone is probably my number 2, and I'm going to place my bets. And he's like, dude, spread your bets everywhere. Go to RuneX, who was first. Like, all you got to do is stake a little ETH and Bitcoin with them, and you'll get the RuneX token too. And I'm like, say that comment again. You have to stake ETH and Bitcoin. I'm like, so I stake my base layer money with people I don't know to get a BS token. And it's funny. You're like, what's the difference? The difference is with Runestone, they're trying to fair drop at no cost to me based on my activity as a first year Ordinals and Joy Ore. Whereas RuneX is saying, hey, stake with us. Who are you? I don't know who you are. And RuneX, he made a convincing argument. I'm like, all right, tell me a little more about RuneX. And that's when I found out you had to actually stake Bitcoin and ETH. I'm like, stake is a very loose term. Like when I stake my ETH in my ETH validator, it's all immutable. I have the private keys. When I'm giving you ETH and Bitcoin, and you're showing me a fake number that's spinning up. So with RSIC, it's a little different because, we got airdropped this literal inscription, and then you transfer it to one wallet and they're keeping track of how long it's sitting there. Did it transfer once? Yes. If so, start mining. So is that mining real mining? No, it's fake mining. They're just keeping track of block by block by block. My JPEGs are just sitting there in the same wallet, and it's quote unquote mining. But the genius thing is, remember, that's all for the airdrop that you're going to get, that they are going to distribute to everybody based on how many that you got. So it's low cost. I did buy a couple more R6. Now with this price, I wish I had even bought a couple more than that. You see some friends in Discord, I look at my number, I'm like, hey guys, anybody else mining R6? And then, I show a couple 100,000 of these future Rune tokens mined, and someone just drops like a 4.6 million. I'm like, yes, sir. Let me.
There's scale to everything.
Yeah. Hold my lunch. So there's scale to everything. Exactly. And it's how much risk you want to take. I'm generally more risk averse in these degen things, but this one, it checks all the boxes for me because they got the mind share. The drop here was a surprise. It's well executed. Even with the runes, there's different symbols at the bottom here that, are different rarities. So there's a lot of factors going on. You see the runes kind of move around there. So there's just a lot of cool aspects to it, and it's a free airdrop. The Runestone will also be a free airdrop of tokens. So like I said, I'm going to stake a couple bets out there. Everything could eventually go to zero. I might sell some right away. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to really study and think about the game theory, because a lot of these BRC20 tokens kind of tanked. They went up, they skyrocketed, they got higher and higher and higher to unbelievable amounts. And now they've kind of come back down with the advent of the discussion that Runes is going to be coming out at the next halving. But those are still, the market caps, I assume, are still in the 100 million. It's not small potatoes. And what do they do right now? I don't know. We'll see. But a whole secondary market could happen, just like on Polygon. You could have NFTs that might function more by trading, the rune coins. So it's all up in the air right now, and how people behave. Just watching this unfold to me is fascinating. But RSIC has done it the best so far.
Do you think that there's room for multiple successes within that? Like, so the RSIC, and then you're like, like which one would you believe in? Or just like, I think we're starting to get to the point where it's not like, oh, there's only going to be one blockchain, like there's room to have multiple chains in the future, and it's not a winner take all. Is this a winner take all sort of scenario? Or do you think that, there's going to be multiple victories emerging from this?
That's a good question. I think there's going to be multiple winners, and I think how it comes out in April is just the beginning. Remember, at the beginning, Casey did something really interesting. Every rune name, this seems so inconsequential, but it has such huge effects. Every rune name has to be 12 characters in length. He did not want to, out of the gate, allow for any length of character, because what people would have done, obviously, that first block, I think it's 840,001 that is on the new, the halving, right? Where the reward fee is not 6.50 anymore. It's 3.75, whatever it breaks down to.
Right.
So by limiting the amount of characters, keeping it at 12 at first. So think of the name of the rune coin. It's got to be like someone wrote mythical rune coin or rune coin RSIC, if that's the RSIC one. Like that's kind of clunky. So my view is the incentive to be first isn't necessarily there, because if you're going to front run a block and pay a lot and get in with a miner to really try and be first and force run, so you're first and you got the name Rune or Runes, right? Like if that first runner got the name Rune or Runes in the new Runes ecosystem for the Runes coin, that front runner, just by provenance, by being first, would win. I would say there's less incentive to be first, because 12 characters, there's no 12 character that just rolls right off the tongue. So who cares who is first? RSIC is going to have the name that they have. Runestone, I don't even think that's not 12 characters. So it's going to have to be like Runestone Open or whatever they come up with. By the next halvening, it's just going to, the less and less and less letters will be allowed. So the Runes 5 letter will be in a block that's probably in 2027. So that's why I'm betting on RSIC, because they have the best marketing and they have the best ODM, Ordinals Degenerate Mindshare. I'm just going to keep pushing it until it sticks, or for me at least.
Yeah, well, that's what matters. But that makes it seems like it's just been well intricately thought out, and it seems, as you're saying, like it definitely triggers and is getting the interest of the people that would be the early adopters. So it certainly seems as if the game theory side of it and just the execution and the potential is what's kind of captivated a lot of people's mind share, and they're just really kind of interested to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I know I am, and I'm vested in it now. And, I get airdropped a few. Had I not gotten airdropped, I'd like to think I would have picked a couple up anyway, because with Runestone, I will, it's actually kind of cool what Runestone's doing, because what Leonidas said is like, hey, let's make this more open source. It's from all of us. Let's figure out the most fair way to drop something. So if you have had activity in that first year you got 3 NFTs in a wallet, which was what they came up with, there's right. Unfairness to that too, because what about the person who just loves that 1 or 2, or they bought 5 little cheap ones and they're in 5 different wallets? So what is fair, right? But the interesting thing about that one is, that's going to kind of get fair dropped to everybody. And those influencers have a lot of influence, because they clog the Ordinals timelines with, these atomic cats, and which I'm personally not going to touch. I don't like the whole concept behind them. And there was, just to mention, there was a failed mint the other day for 3,300 cats, and they said the website got flooded. It seems like something in the technology broke, I think, is more, which happens, like that's fine, but it just feels cringe to me. And everyone I know is basically like, oh yeah, I got on the cat's white list, which is part of the Taproot Wizards group, and they're they're going to flip, and they're all talking about flipping and buying RSIC. So it's a small sample size, but to me, no, thank you.